Hello and welcome to the Raw Makers podcast.
The one-stop shop for courage, confidence, and mindset.
Also bringing you all the aspects of mental health awareness, business, and entrepreneurship. We are your hosts,
Adam Ellis.
and Jason Borman of the Raw Makers Coaching. Now tonight we're very kind of lucky to have a very special guest. He's up and coming in the world of business coaching, and we're very excited to speak with him. So yes, he's an accredited coach and now niching into the business world and helping people, with their business side of their development, I guess. Yeah. So and he's been doing it now for about a year and a half. So yeah, without further ado, let's get him on. Here's Carl Bresciani.
Hi, Jason, Adam. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you for coming on. So
Pleasure.
that was kind of a brief introduction there, but I'm eager to know more about you. So if you want to kind of like have a few minutes to kind of share your story from
Sure.
you and
Of course, yeah. So I'm Carl. I'm about 33 years old. I'm originally from Belgium, but I'm currently living in Mexico. And so I'm a business coach first and foremost. So I help people with their goal setting strategies. There's a bit of financial planning in there and everything that has to do with roadmaps and kind of more of the boring things of the business, but that obviously need to happen as well. And I'm very happy to be on your meeting or podcast today because obviously I feel that what you guys are doing, courage and confidence is a huge aspect. And what I'm seeing a lot with my clients and students, for instance, is that you can have all of the goals in place, all of the roadmaps, and be super good in all of the business aspects. But if you lack what you guys are talking about, well, then there's really no point in me doing anything. So I guess that's the first step, the foundations of the business. So I like your topics a lot.
Thank you. It's just we found it to be very important. It's one of the cogs of the journey that we've all been on. That we're all capable of going on, and we all are going on. And whether you're in the public eye, so to speak, or not, and you're putting yourself out there, you're going to have fear around some things in your life. And it's just you finding that courage within and using it to just push that zone a little bit and stretch the boundaries of what you think you can achieve currently. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So where would you say you are on that journey, like with your courage and confidence?
Yeah, good question, actually. So I'd say I remember when I first started out, because I have a background in corporate. So I had like a very cushy, nice, well-paid corporate job, nice office space and all that. And I remember when I resigned, all of my colleagues, I thought they were going to call me crazy, but all of them called me brave. They said, wow, it's so brave. I wish I could do something like that. And that's just something that always stuck with me because I never considered myself to be a brave person or a courageous person or anything like that. I just thought that I was crazy for doing something like this and giving up on my comfortable position in corporate, basically. But it seems to be it's definitely a topic that plays with people because apparently a lot of other people and a lot of my colleagues or ex-colleagues, they have ideas, but they don't have the courage then apparently to go and actually do whatever it is they wanted to do, whether that's an e-commerce or a coaching business or, I don't know, sell soaps, whatever it was. A lot of people had different ideas and they lacked that bravery. A lot of people said, wow, man, I wish I had the balls to do that. Thought like, oh, wow, that's not the response I was expecting. So, yeah. And since then, I guess like the courage, I think you primarily need the courage to get started. And after that, it's the confidence bit that I am still not very confident. I don't consider myself an expert per se. I'm just a few steps ahead and I know my things, but there's so many other elements that I'm not really good at. So I love all the business stuff and the techie stuff because that's my background, and I worked in finance, so that's part of my background. But like all of the marketing bits, I never had to do anything with that, so I'm definitely not confident there. So it's a roller coaster for sure.
And it's, yeah, partly because at the moment, it's all new, right? It's all kind of, yeah, it's fairly new, and you're breaking out into this new world, and can be a bit
Yeah,
challenging and a bit scary. And
for
like,
sure. Yeah.
but know that you faced that fear before with, you know, the things that you've achieved already in your life. And
Yeah, nobody starts off as an expert. There's a lot of people who pretend to be experts from the get-go, and I just think that's ridiculous. I obviously have my strengths that I can leverage from my past, and I'm good with those things, and I am certified as a coach in these things. But there's just so many other elements, and it's impossible to be an expert in each and every one of them, or at least in the beginning.
sure.
Like photography, for instance, I have to post pictures online stuff. My pictures are not, professionally made, for instance, to give like a silly example.
And it's like your bravery is showing through with that and being so vulnerable. So thank you for that. And saying that you're not perfect and you're not quite there yet with your confidence, and that takes guts and stuff to do as well. So
Yeah, definitely that self-awareness is a huge part.
And courage is part of the journey to get confident. So
Yeah, definitely.
Courage first, and you've got a lot of that. So and doing the things that you've done, like breaking away from a comfortable corporate job, like and going and trying something new, like
I didn't realize it actually, but it definitely is.
In normal terms, that's career suicide, isn't it? It's like
yes, especially mid-pandemic.
And like when people have got that narrow kind of paradigm that they're living from, it can be really hard to imagine what that would be like, and for you to just push past all of that kind of naysaying and other people putting their opinions onto you, and maybe kind of triggering some of your own doubts and fears about doing it in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
Pushing past all of that takes real courage and guts to do. So you're already there, like, and it's just kind of made me realizing that and looking back on that and seeing it as a way of boosting that self-esteem, which then can give you more confidence.
Yeah, very true. It's the first step, but then it's all about practice and getting out there and just doing the work. And the more clients I work with, the more comfortable I become. I can tell as well. And in 5 years' time, we're going to have a completely different conversation, for instance. I guess it's the same with everyone in the coaching business, or it doesn't really matter what kind of business you do. Nobody starts off being an expert, and we're all a bit scared and, I don't know, a bit shy in the business, but you just, you have to keep going one step at a time.
Absolutely. And being confident on things that you are confident on, and showing and just explain to people that you're still learning. And I think that takes good courage as well, to admit that it's really kind of ego dampening, like most people live in their ego, and it's kind of they're kind of point scoring all the time, or they're kind of not wanting anybody to kind of be above them or seem to be above them in any way. And it's kind of and that ego can come in. It's kind of, but for you to kind of just shout the ego straight off the bat, I think it's amazing.
It's a humbling exercise as well, because I was up and coming in my old career, and I would definitely have made a very comfortable corporate career I was a consultant, but I was a junior back then, and I know the path that was in front of me. And then, like you said, like ego definitely comes into play. But yeah, when you start something new like this, that just completely disintegrates, and you just have to start from zero basically. And it's very humbling to see, like, right, okay, there's apparently a lot of stuff in the world that I don't know anything about. Right. Okay.
And I think travel does that
Figure
as
it
well.
out.
Like if you go and experience
Yes.
different places, that humbles you as well. And that's one of the reasons I'm a great advocate for people going and traveling the world and seeing different cultures and seeing different places, because
Yeah.
let's bring you
Definitely.
back to yourself and where you started. You're in a new place, you're in a new country.
Oh yeah, it's
You use
challenging.
the knowledge that is relevant in another country in the place that you currently are, you know, because it's all different and kind of you're starting from that scratch point again.
Yeah, I'm in Mexico right now, so I
Different.
know firsthand about the challenges and internet connections and stuff, and also just, I don't know, yeah, not being in the comfort of your own home with your own office. And I used to have my monitor and everything just nicely set up and ergonomic chairs and everything, and you just take these things for granted, and then yeah, suddenly you're in this tiny Mexican studio and you're thinking, what on earth am I doing here? So yeah,
Nice.
but
So
it's insightful, sure.
soaking up the sun, hopefully, like, you know.
Yes, definitely. There's
Quite
heaps of
nice
that.
here in the UK though over the last couple of days, but
Oh yeah,
time it's a bit up and down and you don't know what the day's going to bring. So it's all good.
UK weather is nice too, though. It's nice. I'm just
it's temperate, yeah. So it's,
yeah, exactly.
you could wear a coat in the morning and then you're stripping off in the afternoon and vice versa. Like
Yeah.
you have to tackle all weathers.
Yeah, it's the opposite here. It's just the thinnest, lightest, least amount of clothes possible. I just put this on to be, I don't know, not completely naked in front of your camera, but which is not even worthwhile, I guess. But yeah, that's just how it goes.
So in terms of like mindset, like what's been like your biggest shift over the last sort of year and a half?
Yeah, I thought about that prior to, you know, this call then, and I think it's so there's this thing I always say to my clients, and I just kind of learned it by coaching them, and it's persistence over consistency, because I hear a lot of times, oh, you need to be consistent, you have to put yourself out there and post 4 posts on Facebook every week or some stuff like that, and if you miss a week, then oh no, you're gonna break the algorithm and all that. And the same thing you hear when you're working out and all of those things. And I don't believe that is actually possible unless you're really one of those power players. And I know a few of those. And they really work from 5 in the morning till 11 at night. And I mean, they go full it. I'm not like that. I stepped away. One of the reasons I stepped away from corporate is because I used to get panic attacks, and I got a burnout about 3 years ago. And I told myself I need to do something else. So for me, in my own business, to go that really power play, Sylvester Stallone type of entrepreneur just goes directly against the whole reason why I started in the first place. So for me, it's more persisting. And if that means that I just need to take like a day off and go to the beach and just read a book and don't do anything, completely disconnect, then I feel that that is actually beneficial rather than harmful to my business, because I'll come back with renewed energy and more clarity and a better mindset, instead of just keep pushing. And I hear that a lot, that we just, you know, motivation and discipline, just keep going. It's like, yeah, no, if I'm not feeling it today, I'm not going to feel it in an hour from now. So it's better to just take a step back and, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of find both is what you need, like consistent.
Yeah, there's a fine line. Yeah.
Like, so if you posted 3 times a week, you know, every week, then that would you obviously help the algorithm and things like that, which, you know, you're going to get people
sure.
coming onto your page. So there is benefits of being consistent. I can see why people say that.
Yeah, of course.
Persistence is always going to outweigh, because it's just your reason for coming back. And, you know, okay, I
Yeah,
was
we're
gone
playing the
for
long game.
a bit, but now I'm back and I want to give the value. And you can always give a reason and be open and honest and vulnerable. And, you know, say I needed some time for me for a little while, and people generally get that, you know.
Yeah, it's not very common in society in general. You know, we're just expected to keep pushing and push harder and make all these sacrifices, and I just don't think that's healthy, and it's not a long-term sustainable strategy. At some point, you're just going to cave, and it's the same as going to a gym and just wanting to push 100 kilo on your first day. It's not going to work, and you'll do it one day because the trainer tells you to, but the next day you're not going to show up. And so it's just, and so there's that.
I guess it's the difference between someone who's experienced burnout and someone who hasn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just like, I'm not going back to that. Like, no way. I'd rather take it slow and steady and just play the long-term game rather than push myself. But that's just me, you know. I'm not saying that everybody has to be like that. I know some guys that are super successful and they got that from just working their ass off 24/7, and I mean, good for them, but that's just not my style. Slow and steady wins the race. That's what I use, what I like.
Not more fable, wasn't it? Right, the hare and the hare and the tortoise. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah, exactly. It's what the Greeks used to say.
Yeah, so Adam, have you got a question for Carl?
So in terms of your coaching wise, what's the biggest obstacle you face?
Oh, the biggest. There's quite a lot of them. I guess there's the ones that come from me, and I guess that would be then mindset primarily for me, because obviously we're not successful just from the beginning, and it's being able to believe in myself and that this will work out as long as I keep doing the work. And that's why I said persistency as well, just to keep going and not fall into the trap of, oh, I haven't seen any results in the last 2 months or something like that, and then just give up, because we see all of these successful people and, oh, get rich quick in 30 days kind of thing. So that I would say that is my biggest obstacle or challenge, is to make sure that I stick to the plan and keep going and keep believing in myself and my business and the way that I've set it up. Another challenge is to convince the people that I work with, my clients, of the same thing, because I love that the businesses that they do, because as a business coach, I work with people who are also setting up businesses then. I primarily work with people in health and wellness. So like, for instance, nutritionists and such. And I have to convince them of the same thing, basically, because they're trying to do really good things about people's health and their wellness and such. But it's a slow game. And so we need to just support each other and make sure that that people play the long game, basically. I said it before, I think that's the same thing. I guess that for me, at least that's what I'm seeing is the biggest challenge, is that both me and my clients, we lack the patience, basically, and we're like, well, I'm still not seeing the results, I'm probably doing something wrong. It's like, no, you're on the right track, you just have to keep going. But yeah, there's that piece of mindset that Jason mentioned.
Yeah.
Trust and faith.
Yeah, faith is a big thing for me as well. Just kind of believing.
Oh, yeah.
We're purpose-led people, and
Yeah.
Purpose driven. So we've got a reason for being here. Otherwise, we'd no longer be here. We have to kind of have some faith, I think, to believe that in order to carry on. with, you know, the difficult things that are thrown at us sometimes, you know. But yeah,
Yeah,
like, you know, but sure as how we're going to come through, you know, much more strong and much more resilient, much more. When they say, like, you know, you pray to God for strength and he gives you problems to overcome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly it. Actually, I'm not a religious person, but it's actually spot on. That's exactly how it is.
And non-religious people have all gone, oh, give me strength. Like, you know, and who are they speaking to in that moment? It's like, you know,
Yeah,
you told me you didn't believe like in anything. So what are you speaking to the universe? Okay, well, what's in the universe? Like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, it's all the same. At the end of the day, it's the idea then that you just have to believe in your own competences and the fact that if you do have a strategy in place and you know what you're doing, and you're not just doing some random stuff, basically, then it's inevitable that you're gonna get to whatever point it is that you set for yourself. As long as it's realistic, right? Like, I mean, I'm still a business coach. People do tend to set highly unrealistic goals for themselves. So I need to kind of tune that back sometimes. But but if you do have realistic goals, then yeah, there's no reason, as long as you're, you know, you believe that, you have the courage to get started, and you have then
but then
the
it's like realistic according to who?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah, but that's a philosophical question. Yeah.
you know, and yeah, but I understand with like bite sizing. For me, if I was
Yeah,
coaching
exactly.
you, I'd be like, "Whoa, I'm gonna do this! I'm gonna do this amazing thing, and it's gonna be epic." And yeah, I need reining in sometimes, and you know, let's start at stage one. I don't
Exactly.
hear the plan at stage 10, like, you know, and yeah, it's like what logical next step can we take? And you know,
Exactly.
that's the coaching side of it.
Yeah, and it'll also be a lot easier to believe it, because I've had clients, for instance, they told me, okay, my goal is I want to be a millionaire. I'm like, right, okay. It's not that this is an unrealistic goal. It's just not going to happen between today and the end of the month,
Yeah.
right? Because I then break it down, like, right, okay, how much are you charging? How many clients do you need to sign up, or how many products do you need to sell? And then it just quickly becomes unrealistic. It's like, right, okay, you need to have 250,000 clients. It's never going to happen. There's not even enough hours in a month to actually work with those people.
Yeah.
But in due time, yes, perhaps this is a realistic goal. So the bite sizes, yeah, that's definitely a big part of what I do as well.
Yeah.
And it's easier to believe it as well, because it's like, okay, if we're focusing on getting one client now, or getting 10 products out the door, right, that's feasible, that's doable, and then it's easier for them to believe. It's easier to find that courage as well to get started, and all everything just kind of starts trickling down then, you know.
You need your foot placed in realism as well, don't you? You need that.
Exactly.
Because then it doesn't become overwhelming before it's even begun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah.
To kind of rein it in and bring it back. Okay, it's cool that you've got those amazing goals, but what's the first stage of achieving that? Like, who do you
Yeah.
need to become in order to be that millionaire?
Yeah, exactly. And then just follow the journey that you're on. And then, you know, if I look back now, for instance, where I was in March last year, I didn't even have a course or anything. And then, you know, I signed up for that, and now it exists. Have I become a millionaire through that course? No, not at all. But it's there, it exists, and I'm selling it, and there's students in there enrolled. And so that's a fantastic first step.
So that's now scalable, and you can then
Yeah,
yourself. Like,
exactly. And I think a lot of people just quit before they get started, because they think like, oh, this is what I want to get out of it. And if I can't have that, well, what's the point? It's like, well, that's not a good mindset to
yeah,
begin with, right?
it's hard not to get swept up in the money, but like money side of coaching. But I always want to remember why I got into it in the first place, and that was to help people. Like,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yes, it's, you know, a way of making money the way you don't have to go to a traditional job. Like, yes, it's been done, like, you know, by people before us, you know, with coaching people. So we know it's not like a fad, like, you know, it is possible,
No, yeah.
you know, coach people and do that, you know, from a laptop anywhere in the world. But
Yeah,
the lifestyle is real, but you know, people don't always see the other side to it, like how many hours
Mm.
goes into the background of sorting all those things out. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
we want to get across both sides before people make a judgment to get into becoming a coach as well.
Yeah, definitely.
We're not
I think the same goes for sorry for cutting you off though. But I think the same goes for a lot of businesses. I know a guy, for instance, he has a what do you call that? Like a truckers company. So he has a bunch of trucks in Europe.
yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't start off with a fleet of 50 trucks like he has now. I'm not sure if it's 50, but it's probably around 50 though. No, he started with one truck and he had one delivery routes, and then over time now he's in his 40s and he has like a whole fleet of them. And yeah, he's just one of the most, let's say, famous guys in the, you know, import export business. No. It's a local Belgian guy. He's a father of a friend of mine, actually. He's in the potato business, to be exact. But yeah, but he expanded on having a fleet of trucks. But it's also not. He's also not crazy successful. He did it because he saw that there was a need for this, and he loved all that. And yeah, I think his dad was in the potato business or something like that, and he kind of just expanded on this. And you know, he's doing what he likes to do. He's been doing that his whole life, and gradually it became like this monster of a company. But it's not like he started off with this whole fleet. And I think if you would talk to people like that, like they would say that this is completely obvious. Like, obviously I'm not starting off with a whole fleet of trucks, like that's ridiculous. But for some reason in this online space, we tend to expect crazy results in just a few months. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting spammed like every single day almost, with people who claim to triple my revenue in the next 30 days or such things. I'm like, that's not even my goal, you know. It's like the amount of work I would need to do to get there. Like, I'm not sure if I'm up for that. You know?
I'm trying something new with the spam though. Like lately I've been trying to turn them into kind of opportunities.
Oh yeah.
Congratulating them for their, you know, bravery and, you know, their outright kind of, you know, coldness, if you know what I mean. It's like,
yeah,
like cold calling, like, you know,
yeah,
just the bravery it takes to kind of message someone out of the blue. So
yeah, true, fair point.
try
Yeah.
and congratulate their courage, but you know, then say, you know, maybe not right now, that I'm not, yeah, or not quite.
Yeah, I like your approach. Actually, it fits your focus of courage, because I couldn't imagine that doing that myself. From a business perspective, I think it's not a good strategy, but from a confidence and courage perspective, I'm not sure if I could do that. Actually, I'd feel awkward.
It's just like congratulate them on that, if you know what I mean. It's just
Yeah, exactly.
that little door open. Maybe they see something in you that they might want to work with you instead. And
yeah, exactly. Reverse the value.
You create an opportunity to maybe have a further conversation about how you can maybe help one another. And
yeah, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, I like your thinking.
it's just like a possibility can come from any angle. And you know, if we live with that, in that possibility, you know, connection being made, which is, that's what I want to start calling clients, is our connections.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they're people, and we want to connect with them and love them in a space, and you know, be able to serve them in the best way that we possibly can.
Yeah.
So
I like that. That's nice. Yeah.
people that are reaching out to you and, you know, so-called spammy messages, you know, that they're kind of, it's obvious it's a script. But another strategy is to maybe, you know, if you're a business coach, maybe suggesting to them that that's not a great way of, you know, starting. Maybe they don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody told them to do this, and now they're enrolled in some program, and they're just following the script of what they've been taught. And yeah, maybe I can just help them with some strategies, some
How
alternatives.
to get more yeses, you know, straight off the bat, getting to know people before you come in with that business, you know, spammy that people know are going to come. So it's kind of like, I can see that just getting it out there, this is why I'm contacting you. They're probably wanting to save themselves a little bit of time, but you don't build relationships that way. And, you know,
Yeah,
and that's part of it. You know, people need to know, like, and trust you in order to get anything from you.
very true. Very true.
So, you know, it's all these, yeah, maybe there's a possibility if you could turn some of these spammy people into clients or into connections where you can collaborate and work together, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, it's a good idea. Actually, I like it. I'll remember that. Actually, there might be some opportunity in there for some collaboration, or who knows what. Because everybody who reaches out is obviously doing some interesting stuff as well, in one form or another. So yeah.
That would be like my one bit of advice to everyone, is to kind of learn from as many people as you can, because then you gain wisdom. So you're seeing it, the world, from as many different perspectives as you possibly can.
Yeah.
They might have some success with their strategy. We don't know that. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's why they're carrying on with it. But just might mean that you kind of seen a different way of doing things, and therefore it doesn't resonate with you. But kind of like that first, you know, initial approach. It's like walking into Apple, or kind of, you know, you get pounced on, don't you? I want to sell you something now. Like,
yeah.
and it's kind of like, yes, you walked in there, but, you know, maybe you weren't looking to get pounced on and sold to straight away, right? And without even having a chance to look around. So it's kind of
market.
And so it's just a different strategies, isn't it? You know, but they still do that because it's been successful, and that's how they sold a lot of their products. So
yeah, could be.
And yeah, it's awesome. So
I'm always bummed.
Yeah, that's it. But what opportunities can we create from, you know, those things? And
I just tell them fuck off.
there we go. Yeah. So well, that's it. That's like a definite no, and nothing can ever come from then, if you know what I mean. So it's interesting. It's just a different way of looking at it. Most of the time I will be like, I don't have time, sorry. Like, but maybe I can go, leaves that little bit of a door open to then go back to it later. You know what I mean? Whereas you do that strategy, then there's no way back from that if you told them to F off. Like,
yeah, but the thing is, right, is to say, I don't want to bore you with the details, and they go into a 50 fucking word essay, like, you're already boring me.
Happens all the time. Yeah.
But yeah, they might just need our help in, you know, finding a different strategy, because that's obviously not working if most people are going to be like that and into them. Like,
I think I'll ask them next time. So I just how often do you sign someone up versus how often does someone tell you to fuck off when you're doing this?
Yeah.
Let them do the calculation and be like, right, if you want to change that, you know, here's my number, book in the discovery call, and then let's go from there. Might be able to help you get some leads from this.
They might need help just as much as they think you need help, if you know what I mean. It's just they're
exactly.
It's just that they're making the first move, or, you know, anything can, but to close it off is silly, because that could be a possible, you know, collaboration or connection in the future.
And like you said, it's pretty courageous from their side to actually go out and try that with a bunch of people they might not have spoken to before, you know.
Most of the time I do say F off in a roundabout way, but I do it in a way that's kind of, I send them with a positive, I admire your courage for, reaching out, but I'm not interested, or, yeah.
You're a very nice guy, Jason. Too kind.
It's just, they're trying to do their thing, and,
Exactly. I know I've tried a lot of stuff that didn't work.
Put the essay down.
That's it. That could be like, give them a few pointers and things like they could work on before you send them away. So, yeah.
Yeah, that big script, cut it down to a little fucking sentence.
Rewrite the script and so like, how about this? Try this. Let me know how that worked out.
Yeah, and it's
You just rework it.
it's that
Do
free
some free
value. Once you've given someone free value, they look at you differently. It's like, well, they've actually helped me, so what can I give them in return? And you might end up having a free spot on their course that they would have previously sold to you. Like,
yeah, true.
And they could end up teaching you stuff that makes you millions. You never know. So
yeah, true. It's the power of one. You only need one to
it's just like one connection could change your life. So how differently do you look at your spam now? Like,
But what annoys me more is when I go to bed, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll have 15 fucking notifications on Facebook of people I don't even fucking know trying to accept me as a friend. And all of them are trying to spam me. I'm like, fuck off.
that's because you're someone worth having as a friend.
compliment that.
Some of them, I look at the profile first and I thought, if they're all right, I'll accept them. If I don't like them, I'm going to fucking skip.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you're running a business, you have to make sure that you don't fill up your Facebook space with people that don't bring any value to you, either because you want to work with them or learn from them, or because they're potential leads or whatever.
Yeah,
there's a limit.
Everyone
if you get flooded.
Yeah, I give it a chance. I can always kick them out later.
Yeah,
like, and just
that's a job in itself, though.
all the friends lists of anyone that's not. Yeah.
The ones I normally tell to fuck off are the ones who are trying to sell me VAs. I don't want a VA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If I wanted a VA, I would have hired a VA.
That's it. It's like, yeah. So, yeah. So where can people contact you if they want to work with you? Where can they find you?
So I'm active on Facebook and on Instagram at the moment. I'm expanding on LinkedIn shortly as well, as of May, June, but I'm focusing on the new launch of the program, which is going to be in May. So it's a relaunch because I did it a few times already. And so that would be Coach Carl 88 on Instagram, and either it's just my name on Facebook. And I run a company which is called the Mindful Business Academy, because it's obviously business coaching, but I try to tackle it from a more mindful way to kind of make sure that everybody works on their own pace and such things. So it kind of depends what you're looking at. If you're on Facebook, it's just my name, and otherwise on Instagram, it says Coach Carl 88.
So that's all. I'll put them in the description, and you can go and check out Carl's socials. And if you want to work with him, then yeah, I'm more than happy to kind of give you that recommendation. And yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you. Especially the program is going to be interesting. I've done it a few times now, and I think that this new launch in May is going to be really nice. It still has the training, but I kind of put it into a new tech jacket as well. And yeah, I really like it. Obviously, that's my background a bit, so I like all the nifty stuff.
You've got that new launch coming up. So what's sort of next for you, would you say?
So what's next? Well, I'm fully focused on the launch then. in May, so I have about 1 month left. So it's all about that now, making sure that all of the details are set up. And the plan after that is to turn my online course into an evergreen course so that people can kind of follow that on their own pace. I've had a lot of people reach out to me. They love the program because it's live, but for a lot of people it doesn't really work, so they prefer to just do it on their own time. So I figured, like, well, it kind of benefits me as well, because obviously once it's created, I don't have to present it live, and I can just focus on a few lives a year. And they seem to want this, because a few people already asked me to just create that as a pre-recorded training, and that they can just follow it whenever suits their time, basically, because everybody is in business. So it's not always as easy to just pop up on the live workshops.
Yeah.
So that is going to be the next step. Then I do the live now in May again, and as of June, I want to have it as a self-paced course, basically an online course. And after that, we'll see what summer will bring. I have a book full of ideas, but I'd like to take things one step at a time, though. So yeah.
We're building our course in the background as well, so we might pick your brains on like some things.
Yeah, sure. Happy to talk about that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on, giving us your valuable time, and yeah, it's been really
Thanks
good.
for having me. Yeah, it's great to be live with you guys. Like, obviously, I've been following you for a while, and I love your topics of confidence and courage. I really believe that that's where it starts. If that's not something you have, you need to work first. So if you are working with some business people, or I'm working, I would actually even consider sending them to you first, and then when you've done the work with them, or vice versa, or as a collaborative, and then they can come back to me and we can talk about all of the business stuff. But yeah, I do believe that what you're doing is the foundation of every successful business, basically.
Thank you. And yeah, who knows, possible collaboration in the future for sure. And
Would be cool, actually.
Yeah, because it is the start, and I feel like we've really touched on the fact that it is going to take these people from the outside world who are kind of stuck in their fear. They don't know that it's going on. They don't know that they can change it. They can view it differently, and they can, they don't know.
Exactly. So much potential gets lost because of that. There's so many people sitting on brilliant ideas that you just want them to share with the world, but because of the lack of courage and confidence, they just don't even get started. And that's really the first step. After that, we can all, just struggle our way through. But it's like, if you don't get started, nothing's going to happen. So yeah, I do believe that it's the first step to at least get that potential to kind of kickstart it,
Yeah,
that would be great. It's great vision to have.
That's awesome. So there's like one bit of golden nugget advice you could have for our listeners. What would you think that would be?
I'd say reach out to someone. Don't try and do it by yourself. There's always someone who can just kind of give you one piece of advice, however small it might be. It can be in a professional setting, like working with you guys or with me, but it can also just be in your surroundings. When you just share things out loud, it's like, oh, actually, what I would like to do is start a food truck, or whatever your passion or vision might be. If you just share that with other people, who knows, maybe somebody will say something interesting, like, oh, I actually know a guy who does this or that. And then before you know it, you're in the midst of it, basically. And yeah, I think that first step is the most important. And after that, it's just gonna.
Well, they say your network is your net worth, don't they? So if you're not open to sharing your views, you're not going to make the connections with people.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to know what you're about and what you want to achieve. And then, yeah, I think people generally are kind of, always looking for people to help. you know,
Yeah,
in-
exactly. It's
Brilliant.
usually not really a big thing for other people if you're just vocal about it.
so if you kind of share that openly, then there's going to be someone who will want to help you, you know, get where you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on. It's been great.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome back anytime. So yeah, maybe in a few months when you've had different things go on, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you.
back on. So yeah, this has been Carl and the Raw Makers. And before we go, we always finish it the same way. So let's draw on that courage.
Build up that confidence.
And let's get back our Raw. Thank you guys. Have a good